Zara clapped as her unicorn Moonbeam galloped across the dry grass and splashed into Sparkle Lake. Yay! Moonbeam kicked up her hooves, showering them both with the glittering water. Zara pushed her straight brown hair away from her face. "Hurry up, slowpokes!" she called to her friends. "It's nice and cool!" With whoops of delight, Phoebe, Lily, and Aisha galloped into the lake on their unicorns, Shimmer, Feather, and Silver. "It was so hot and stuffy this morning in class, I honestly thought I was going to die. I think we should ask Miss Rosemary if we can have afternoon lessons in the lake," said Phoebe, pushing her long blonde braids over her shoulders. "It would be awesome." Zara laughed. "Yep, because she'll definitely agree to that." It was the middle of summer, and Unicorn Island was suffering from a heat wave. At first, Zara and her friends in Amethyst Dorm had loved the long hot days and nights, but after several weeks of high temperatures, the heat was becoming unbearable. The grass had turned to a yellow crisp, and the flowers and plants had all wilted. The fountain was dried, and the lake had shrunk, leaving a rim of cracked, dried mud around the edge. The unicorns splashed around, kicking water at each other with their hooves. Lily leaned forward and whispered in Feather's ear. Suddenly, the lake began to ripple. Zara smelled the sweet, sugary scent of magic and saw sparkles bubbling up through the water from Feather's hooves. The ripples grew stronger until the water rose in a tall, glittering wave. It arced high over Zara, Phoebe, and Aisha. Zara held her breath, expecting to get soaked. Crack! More magical sparkles fizzed in the air, and the wave exploded, raining shimmering droplets down on everyone. Zara laughed, enjoying the cool mist falling on her face and hair. Lily, Phoebe, and Aisha clapped and cheered. "Go, Feather and Shimmer!" Zara clapped too, but she couldn't help feeling a little bit envious. She knew Lily's unicorn, Feather, had created the wave with her special moving magic, and Phoebe's unicorn, Shimmer, had broken it with his energy magic. When would Moonbeam discover her magic? The unicorns usually found their special magical powers during their first year at the academy. Those who didn't had to stay for a second year with their partners. "He's coming back," Moonbeam whispered. Zara leaned over her neck. "Who's coming back?" she asked, wondering what Moonbeam was talking about. "He is," said Moonbeam dreamily. "But who?" said Zara. "Who are you talking about?" She felt a prickle of frustration. Moonbeam often went off into daydreams. "What do you mean, Moonbeam?" Moonbeam jumped in surprise, as if she was waking up. "Oh, sorry. I'm not sure what I was saying." "Hurry up, you two," Lily called from the bank. "Lunchtime's nearly over, and we need to dry off before afternoon classes start." "Okay," Zara called. "We're coming." But Moonbeam didn't move. "Zara, wait. I feel strange, like there's magic all around me. My skin's tingling." Zara shrugged. "Shimmer and Feather were just doing magic. That must be what you can sense." "This is different," Moonbeam insisted. "For a moment back there, I felt like I'd found my own magic." Zara frowned. "But you didn't do anything magical, Moonbeam." "No, but I had a feeling," said Moonbeam. Zara sighed. Moonbeam was always going on about feelings and how important they were. "Moonbeam, you know I want you to find your magic just as much as you do, but imagining it's happening isn't going to help. Come on, let's go and dry off. We've got care of unicorns after lunch, and Miss Rosemary hates it when people are late.
For a moment, she thought Moonbeam was going to argue, but then she splashed out of the lake. As they reached the bank, Zara slid from Moonbeam's back and ran over to join her friends, who were sunbathing.
That was a fun water fight, she said, flopping down on the grass next to Phoebe.
Aisha giggled and tightened her high ponytail.
I thought Feather was going to cover us with that wave.
Phoebe grinned.
It wasn't half as scary as the enormous tidal wave that almost hit us when we camped on the cliff, though.
Lily nodded.
I will never, ever forget that. It was terrifying. We were so lucky that Shimmer was able to save us using his energy magic.
Back in the spring, a huge tidal wave had nearly destroyed a stretch of coastline that the girls had been camping on. They'd only escaped thanks to Shimmer's magic powers. He had used his ability to throw balls of magic energy to break up the wave before it could do any real damage. That wasn't the only environmental disaster the girls had experienced this year. Just after they had started at Unicorn Academy, purple tornadoes had swept through the island. One had almost destroyed the academy, but Feather had used her moving magic to force it safely out to sea. Zara suddenly had a worrying thought.
What if this heatwave is being caused by the same person who caused the tornadoes and the tidal wave?